and we are live for the F2 at Spain. So we should have ready up in around about a minute's time. As you can tell, it is just me tonight. Unfortunately, my co-com has had to give it a miss for personal reasons. So if you guys want to jump in, comments, give me something to talk about besides these guys racing, that would be much appreciated. And as I'm sure any of you drivers listening, you'll know that helping me out with weather always helps too. And of course the first comment in there is straight away is Osso. Good evening, Osso. As that is past, so people are starting to ready up, but none of them are the admin yet, so that's just a couple of eager drivers there. Of course Aiden would say good morning, that's typical Aiden. Can't be normal like everyone else, can you, Aiden? Ooh, just something I've just quickly thought about as well. My audio settings are going to be too loud, so I best turn that down. If there's any problem with sound as well, guys, just let me know and I'll adjust as I need to. As Dan has now readied up, so that should be the ready up for everyone then. I don't know what you mean about lovely Colin. I'm the lovely Colin, the other one's missing. So we've got a few seconds and then these guys will be getting out there for their one-shot qualifying. As always, one-shot qualifying is always difficult to try and pick up a driver, so we're just going to stick with whoever we end up on with. Oh, about Aiden. Yeah, Aiden. It's just Aiden. He can't be normal. He has to say good morning even though it's 8:30 PM. As we've got Nicky in the comments as well saying Osso's #1 fan is back. And Clay saying let's go guys, hopefully some racing close to the quality of last night. I'm not too sure that these guys will be able to keep up with last night's work. We did some pretty staggering work in Tier 3 last night. Even the qualifying was exciting. Uh, 10 seconds then and we will be getting this qualifying underway. And it looks like we are on board with Dan. So that is where we shall be staying. Everyone on the soft tyres for this, so that would assume there is no super softs for this race. Teabag in there with the little looks. Yes, Teabag, we know you're missing. And I'm sure you're feeling a little left out not being on comms with me. It's strange enough being on my own, I'm not used to this, but I try and do my best. So everyone's just moving up and down at the minute. Coolpy seems to have a bit of a lead there. Dan's just hovering around P3, P4 with Harry second, but with Harry he tends to get himself DSQ'd from these things and not set a time, so we'll see. As actually that where has Coolpy just gone all the way down to P17? That must have been a bad little couple of corners for him there, as Dan's now gone into the lead. And now Harry, so they're very, very close, those two's times. Last few corners to go then. 14 and 15 there, the chicane. And out around 16 with what looks to be Dan going to take pole position. and he has by just over half a tenth. And there was only a couple of disqualifications there, which was Aiden, Dylan, and I didn't see the other name, it disappeared. Teabag, yeah, Dan needs to retain his healthy lead. Well, he missed a couple of races, so you know he's going to be wanting to build back up that lead again. But yeah, we've got Dan in P1, JJ Lato in P2, El Jobo P3, Hamster P4, Harry P5, Scotty P6, Dimster P7, Lookman P8, Matey Boy P9, and Monkeys to Nuts rounds out the top 10. And the DSQs then, there was 4 of them. There was Noodles, Aiden Gray, Coolpy, and Dylan. So for the sprint race, those top 10 will be reversed, which means Monkeys to Nuts will start at the front for the sprint. Just hopefully everyone's remembered that because this is a sprint in the F2s, you do not have to make a pit stop. The only mandatory pit stop is in the feature race. As, yep, Clay picks up that Coolpy did get a DSQ, which isn't good for him because that means he will be starting very close to the back in both races. And he is one of our title contenders for the F2s as well, so that's not a great place for him to be starting from. Also, ready to get disappointed once again, Nicky. I don't think it's just Nicky that gets disappointed with you. Also, I think it's your entire fan base, of which there is usually quite a lot. So, we are away on our formation lap. As I said, Monkeys to Nuts starting at the front. Matey Boy alongside him with Lookman P3, Dimster P4, Scotty P5, Harry in P6, Hamster P7, El Jobo P8, JJ Lato P9, and Dan will be starting from P10. But that does give him a healthy advantage over Coolpy, who is, as far as I'm aware, his closest title rival, which I will just quickly have a look at, just to be sure. So I didn't realise that actually this was closer than I thought. So before this race, Dan is on 205 points. JJ Lato and Coolpy are both on 204 points. So it's very close between the top 3. Yep, thanks Teabag, you just confirming exactly what I was just having a quick look at. So I do appreciate you dropping that comment in. And surprisingly, Clay also may not have any faith in himself, but his fan base clearly do have faith in him, of which they're a little on the quiet side tonight. As that's 2 DSQs from the formation lap for King Lookman and Matey Boy. So there must have been contact between those two, just a little bit behind Monkeys there that we didn't quite catch. But they will be starting, and I'm sure because of how late it was, their tyres will be nice and warm, so it won't be a cold tyre issue for anyone there that's going to cause a bad start or anything. So the guys at the back there then just dropping into their positions, that being Dylan and Coolpy. So we should get lights anytime now. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And lights out. That was a little bit of a wait there. That is a big scramble of cars, but so far it looks like there's been no contact from anyone. A little bit of movement going on, of course. That was 3 wide through turn 1 by the looks of it. That was brave from some of these guys at the front. As I do think we have someone gone a bit wide there in the back. Who was that? That may have been Carl. No, it wasn't Carl. I'm not sure who that was, but somebody was a bit wide in the back there. But so far so good. No apparent incidents as I speak too soon, and that is someone in the wall. Who was that? That was Jackie, and he's lost his end plate and part of the right side of his wing. So for our title contenders then, Dan is up 1 place, JJ Lato has picked up 2 places, and Cool P is all the way up in P11 already. He's picked up 7 places, so he definitely doesn't want to let that title go away just because of a bad qualifying session. As that is now Luckman going the wrong way, and it appears he's got no wing, so that will be Luckman in the pits then. And Noodles is now at the back as well. I didn't spot what happened there, but he doesn't appear to have any damage, so I doubt he'll be pitting. As Scott is out, he's in the pit wall, and that has brought out a VSC, so there's a couple of guys that are going to pit, which is non-surprising. But in the mix of all that, Dan snuck ahead of JJ Lato into P6, with JJ Lato in P7 and now Coolpy on the back of them both in P8, having picked up 10 places already just inside the space of just over a lap. So let's just hope nobody gets a drive-through here for speeding under the VSC. It's been known to happen quite a few times. Nobody will want that, especially not these 3. Well, except maybe for each other, but... As Scotty pops in the comment with an F and a lot of stalls, so we know he's not very happy. As Matey Boy does pick up a drive-through for speeding under the VSC. So that will concede his P1 position now to Hamster when he does take his drive-through penalty. As we've now got yellow flag in sector 3 as well. That is Matey Boy. Again, Matey Boy's not having much luck. I was just going to have a look at how far it would have dropped him back, that drive-through. Given around 15 to 18 seconds probably for a drive-through, for a guess, as we do now have DRS enabled and Matey Boy has taken his drive-through. So let's just jump on with Harry, who's having a run now at Hamster, who's not having any of it. He's made sure he keeps that position. Let's see if there's anything happening further down with these guys. No. They're all through there. Come on, Hamster. From Clay, and Scott can't hear comms. Why can Scott not hear the comms? Well, having just checked the sound, there is sound on comms, so maybe try turning up your volume, Scott. Because it only seems to be you having the problem. Right. So, still Dan, JJ Lato and Coolpy are all together. And they are in the middle of a bit of a DRS train as well, so DRS isn't going to help any of them to overtake the other. Because Dan's going to be getting it from El Jobo, and then JJ Lato is going to get it from Dan, and Coolpy's going to get it from JJ, so there's going to be no advantage for any of them with DRS. In fact, the only person who might even come close to losing out here is maybe Monkey, who's actually giving El Jobo his DRS, so I did say turn your volume up. I didn't assume you would have had your phone connected to your earpods. That is a typical B-Tech Thompson mistake, that is. Only Scott. So, as Dylan does, put in the fastest lap there with a 1:30.6. Just trying to stay on board with these title contenders, because they're where all the eyes are on for this race. But saying that, Harry's getting close to the back of Hamster again. And he may have a run here into the braking zone for turn 10. Oh, a little bit of contact there. But nobody seemed to take any damage, so that's good. That could have been a whole lot worse. So Jobo's going up the inside of Monkey there as well. Just see if there's something going on with Monkey. Oh, who was that in spin in the background? That's Coolpy. That will not help him. He needed to stay on the back of Dan and JJ Latta, but he's just lost 3 places. So that is unfortunate for Coolpy, because he needs the points to stay in this title battle. It's very, very close between Dan and JJ here. So you were one of the 3 wide into turns 1 and 2 then, Scott. That was brave, I'll give you that. That was very brave. Very clean as well, surprisingly, for all 3 of you. Oh, as JJ Lato just gets a little bit wide there and just loses a bit of ground to Dan. Oh, as Monkey just picks up a penalty and then ends up in the wall. Yep, that is a DNF in the wall as well. He didn't seem to DNF, and then he must have had another bit of contact there. It finished his car off. So, I don't think there's a safety car. It's just a yellow flag for that sector for now. As Osso's finally making up places for his fan zone. He's up 1 place. As Harry sets the fastest lap of a 1:30 flat. And there's Scott in the comments just blowing his own trumpet. Just reiterating how well they took turn 1 and 2 on lap 1. So let's just have a look at title contenders again then. So Dan's got almost a second there on JJ Lato. He's sliding in and out of the 1 second to 9/10 mark. So he's almost got enough to keep JJ Lato out of his DRS. Not quite this time. Of course, Dan still has DRS himself, so it really won't help JJ at all. Scott, not just my trumpet. No, I know. It's just fun to mock you. As Ethan Gaming says, poor old Monkey. Yeah, that's just really unlucky, but it's that terrible turn 9 that everyone hates so much, that uphill right-hander that can just catch you out so easily. I mean, I don't know if it's any worse in the F2 cars, but I know it's not a million miles of fun in the F1s. As Dylan now picks up a 3-second penalty as well. Dan's dropped outside DRS, so JJ actually has DRS on Dan while he doesn't have it, but he's not going to get close enough this time. So this is just going to bring JJ really close to Dan again now. Coopy has made up a couple of places himself as well. He's clawed his way back up to P8 there. So there's really not a lot between these 3 title contenders, but Dan does still have the point advantage. He's got 1 point already, and he's sitting at the top of the 3 title contenders in this race as well. Dan is very, very close to El Jobo now, considering he was outside DRS not a full lap ago. Scott comes in with Come On Nerf Pack, who's currently sitting in P11. And Teabag, let's go Gelato. That's his name for JJ Lato. He's currently running in P5, as Dan has actually snuck past El Jobo while I was reading those comments as well. But this now isn't great for Dan, because that means the two guys behind him have now got DRS, and he is 4 seconds away from Hamster, meaning he won't have any DRS. As JJ goes for a look at a move on El Jobo there. Thinks the better of it, hangs on to the back of him for now. As that is a stricken car of someone there. That might be Luckman at the back, actually. Let's just see if I can quickly find out. Yep, that's just Luckman at the back there. That's why nobody was dropping positions. So El Jobo has dropped out of Dan's DRS now, which will give JJ a chance to overtake him. So Teabag says Hamster for the win. That will be a close battle between Hamster and Harry, as it has been for most of this race with 5 laps to go. Or about 4.5 actually now, but not such a long way left to go now, and those two have been pretty close throughout. We'll just quickly jump on there with Hamster and see how their battle's going. Yeah, absolutely, Clay. It's great racing here. It's just trying to stay on with the action, and most of it, thankfully, is actually happening around the title contenders as well. So it's given me plenty to talk about while these two guys are going at it, as that was pretty wide from Hamster there, so that really won't help him, but he does have DRS, so he will sneak closer to Harry this time out. I don't think that'll be a move, so let's just drop back and see what JJ Lato's doing on El Jobo, and he's sneaking closer, as Matey Boy is now DNF'd as well. That is in Sector 2 by the looks of it, and that is a VSC. So let's just see if we can drop down and see. No, there's nobody going to be behind him yet until Harry picks up where his car is. He looks like he's dropped it in turn 9 again, which is the same place as we lost Monkey, as Aiden's also DNF'd. That would be an incident involving the pit wall. Why was Dylan just reversing on track and completely cutting across the grass? That was a bit naughty, Dylan. So we do have a couple more drivers there into the pits. And it is now a full safety car. That will likely be because of Aiden's stricken car at the entrance to the pits. Literally drove into the pit wall. As Teabag says, Dan paid off Aiden. Well, the way he drove into that pit wall, pretty straight on, you know, maybe he has paid him off. You never know. But this will now close everybody back up, which means that that gap that was sitting there between Dan and Hamster now is going to disappear. And JJ is still 2 places behind Dan. He was never able to make that move on El Jobo, which would have moved him back within touching distance of Dan. And then Colby, the third of the 3 title contenders right now, is sitting a further 3 places behind JJ Lato as well. So, or Gelato, as Teabag likes to call him. So, considering he's come from the back of the grid, I mean, he's made up 10 places, so that's still great work from him. As I'm not entirely sure why he looks like he was about to pass Cole there, but let's just see where these guys are, because there's the safety car. I was going to say, just make sure Harry doesn't accidentally overtake the safety car there, as Hamster almost overtook Harry by mistake instead. Really, Aiden? So, Scott says, Harry for the win. Clay says, we don't have corruption in CDR, boys. Well, we know that, but it's always fun to mock Aiden. Aiden says, wow, went across the grass and then drove into the pit wall. That does sound very much like your regular driving style. And Teabag says, this has hurt Hamster, he'll drop like a stone because of that penalty. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, it is not going to help him at all. So that is really not going to help. But in terms of the title guys, that really puts Dan in a good position, because Hamster is not really going to be a problem because the aforementioned penalty. So all he's really got to do at this point is catch Harry for the win. Of course, Dylan. So let's see how long this safety car will be out for. It's going to have another lap because we've got a few stragglers at the back. We've got Luckman, who's quite far down, and oh, he almost put it in the wall at turn 9. That was not good driving from Luckman at all. But we are waiting for Dylan and Jackie to catch back up as they come through turn 7 and 8. So once these guys catch up, which if they get to move on, we could have the safety car in the next lap and have maybe a couple of laps of actual racing to finish us off, because we don't want to really finish under the safety car. Two-lap sprint for these guys then. What can they do on a 2-lap sprint? Yeah, I was pretty sure it would be teabag. I wasn't expecting the safety car to actually wait for these guys because of how few laps we've got left, so I was fully expecting it in this lap, which it should confirm just about at the other end of this straight at turn 10. So there we go. In fact, it's told me a little bit earlier than I expected, so we'll take that. So it will be then a 2-lap sprint to the end. Corpy's going to be wanting to make up places, and Dan's going to want to be making up, maybe stealing the win away from Harry if he can. And of course JJ Lasso is going to want to close that gap up to Dan as well, so he'll be wanting to get past Il Jobo as fast as he possibly can. As Ruben pops in there, the first one of the usual ozone. With clearly not on steroids today. No, he had them yesterday and he ran out for today, unfortunately. But he has picked up 3 places, so it's not an entire loss for Osso. He's not DNF'd yet and he's in the top 10, so go Osso. As we are back underway, and there is little gaps forming already, as Dan is already a second behind Hamster, who's already a second behind Harry as well. So everybody's actually improved their positions, as we have a yellow flag in sector 2. That was somebody off the track there. I think that was Hamster. It was Hamster who lost a few positions there. I got confused because I thought it was Luckman's car again. So that has promoted Dan then into P2 with a 2.2 second gap now to Harry, and JJ Lato is very, very close to making a podium. He's got to find a way past Il Jobo though, so that won't be an easy task for him. As Corpy has just made a place on Cole there as well. So that's him now up to P7. He's going to be wanting to gain as many points as he can here to stay in this title battle. As JJ has now put that move on Il Jobo. So that is P2 and P3 for 2 of our 3 title contenders. As Ruben pops in with the head down also. Absolutely, he's running in P9, so all he needs to do is keep his head down and keep himself to himself, and he'll get to the finish. As he has just lost a place to Dylan, but Dylan has a penalty, so let's just have a quick look what that penalty will be. 3 seconds, so he could still end up P9 anyway. fastest lap I will have to look at in a minute. See if it actually tells me. There we go. Hamster 29.4. I actually missed that because the last time I saw a fast lap was 30 flat, which I think was Harry at the time. So none of the 3 title contenders have the fastest lap currently. Oh, that's a good view. You can see Dan and JJ and El Jobo all quite close together there, as DRS is now enabled when Harry crosses the line. That's brilliant. Quality work by the Codys there. So that is Harry in P1, Dan in P2, JJ Lato in P3, El Jobo P4, and Cool P has made 13 places to end up in P5. And I was going to continue running the names, but it disappeared off my screen. So we will go through the top 10 finishers in a minute. As the driver of the day, according to the game, goes to Cool P, which doesn't surprise anyone with the amount of places he made up. He's going to have to do that all over again, though, in the feature race. Also, got wing damage at turn 1 and still managed to finish. That's great work for you also. You never do seem to like these F2s. You complain about them quite a lot as well. Even Clay's getting in the ozone there. He's happy that Osso's finished in P7. So, the results for the sprint race then. That's Harry in P1, Dan in P2, JJ Lato in P3, El Jobo in P4, Coolpy in P5, Carl in P6, Osso up in P7 from P13, Dimpster P8, Dylan P9, and Wings is P10. And the fastest lap must have come on the last lap because it's gone to Harry with a 29.5. So now we move on to the feature race, which will be a few laps longer. I'm not sure how many, but we shall find out shortly. We'll find out together. As that's Teabag and also having a little bit of conversation there. So I'll leave them to it in the comments. So we've got 15 seconds and we shall get back underway with the feature race Spain. And I'm sure there's a few drivers that will be glad to see the back of Spain after this. I almost said pain because that's what it puts us in this track. So that is the guys just about to start their formation lap. So see, everyone's on the soft tyres. And that is going to be Dan to start at the front then with JJ Lato behind him, El Jobo in P3, Hamster P4, Harry P5, Scotty in P6, Dimpster P7, King Luckman P8, Matey Boy P9 and Monkey in P10. But Cool P all the way down in P18 with his two nearest title rivals having just scored more points than him and starting P1 and P2 both together on the front row. My mistake there, Chloe. If the fastest lap was Josh's, I didn't actually notice. I just went with what it said on my screen. So if it's a glitch, it's a glitch. I'm sure that's something you'll deal with later. Fastest laps are your area of expertise, not mine. as guys are still just going around warming their tyres around turn 9, so we've got a few more turns to go yet. Still can't stop coughing. I've only had this cough since November. And there's the leaders just coming out around turn 16. So we'll start getting everybody formed up. We'll just drop to the back there and watch for the last guys getting settled into their grid positions, which will be Dylan at the back there. And once they're all settled in, then we'll jump back to the front again and await lights out. Wonder whether we're going to have a short time with all 5 lights on, or whether it's going to just make these guys just wait a little bit. 'Cause for the sprint race, it made them just wait for a second or so before releasing them, as the guys are now just about in their pit boxes. So get on to where we can see the lights as Chloe says all's forgiven, and Clay says come on Dan. So Dan will be starting at the front. And they're away then. I apologise, I did slightly miss that there because I just saw a comment from Teabag saying he didn't miss Spain, he's in a spa hotel that the company has paid for. It's alright for some, isn't it? So it looks fairly clean from what I can see. I don't see anyone flying off, although there is now a yellow flag. That is Jackie that's out. And it doesn't look like it's gone well for Coopy either, who's just been spun around somewhere there. So he's now lost ground that he really won't have wanted to lose. Let's just see if he's taken any wing damage as well, because this will be important for his race. No, he seems to have it all intact still, so he'll be okay there. He's lost a few seconds though. He really wouldn't have wanted to have lost that. Harry somehow made himself get slotted in between the top 2. So that'll be important for Dan in this race. He'll want to hold on to that lead, and the further JJ falls behind him, the better it is for him on points. As Monkey appears to have just made a move there as well. And Lookman having a little bit of contact from what I could see there. So a lap in then, and well, almost a lap in, and Dan's found a whole second almost on Harry. It was a second, it's just dropped down though, so Harry got a better run out of turn 15 than Dan did. But with no DRS yet, that's not going to make a million miles of difference yet. Hamster just having a little look at JJ there as well. Got within a couple of tenths and thought about it. Maybe the next lap he'll think about another one if he gets a good run out of 15 and 16. And he's got Scotty behind him as well, but he's a bit back. As Dimpster's now making a move on Monkey and going into turn 4. Oh, a little bit of contact there between those two, but they both come out of it unscathed. So anyone else having a little battle going on back here. All these guys are in such close proximity. You've got Osso and his teammate, the 11 and 12, just riding along behind each other at the minute. Seem like they're a little stuck there behind Carl as well, but let's have a look. There's not much else going on at the back there. Dan snuck away into a 1.2 second lead over Harry, so he won't have to worry about DRS as he actually picks up a purple middle sector there as well, as it just flicked up on my screen. But Harry will have JJ within his DRS when we come around for it on the next lap. Just sit on with JJ here for a bit and just see how this plays out while Dan drives into the distance, which he tends to do when he's not got anyone in front of him. He just sort of drives away and just leaves everyone else behind. As of course he now picks up the fastest lap with 29.2 there, and DRS is enabled now. But the guys won't have hit the activation zone, so there won't be DRS yet, as Hamster has made a move on JJ Lasso, so that going into turn 1. So that's moved JJ down into P4 now, increasing that gap between himself and Dan. And Colby is still down in P15, so he's not made much ground on either of these guys either. But JJ sticking close to the back of Hamster here. He might be thinking about a run out of turn 9 down the DRS. See if he can outbrake Hamster into turn 10. But it depends on the run he gets. Oh, as he's already made the move. Because Hamster's on the grass. So he's now lost out to Scott as well. So let's just see if he's got any damage. Looks like he might have some damage on his right side. He has. He's lost a big chunk of the right side of his wing. So that's really unfortunate for Hamster, who's having a good race there. He's now losing more positions as well. As we now have a yellow flag in sectors 2 and 3. I'm not sure what that was for, unless it's just Hamster's car trying to get out of the way of everyone. And he's now picked up a 10-second penalty for exceeding track limits as well. It's gone all wrong for Hamster. But that has now meant that JJ Lato has moved back into P3 and he can go and try and hunt down Harry to get closer to Dan. And that is Hamster retiring from the session, which I'm not surprised after he picked up that 10-second penalty for trying to get out of everyone's way. So that yellow flag in sector 3 is just because of the retirement in the pits from Hamster. So let's see what's happening further down, because these guys at the front are getting all spaced out now. Luckman's having a little look at the back of Cole there as well. Maybe trying to make up some points for his team after his teammates just retired. He'll be wanting to hang on for a few points. He's got Dylan all over the back of him as well. But they've both got DRS, so that's not going to help Dylan too much this time out. There's a little DRS train going on from these guys as well. From Carl all the way down to Wings in P16. So it's P8 to P16 has all got a little DRS train going on. As that's Dylan going wide. So let's just have a look at Colby as well, because he is one of the title contenders who've now managed to sneak up to P12. He's up 6 places, but he's got a long way to go if he wants to grab a handful of points here to try and stay in this title fight. As he's going for a move on Osso. And I think that's going to be moved done as well. It is, it's moved done, so that is now 7 places. And he'll be hunting on the back of Dylan there, wanting to take that place away from Dylan, who just gets a little bit wide and out of shape, so that's another move made. So that's now Colby up 8 places and into P10. He's just sneaking through the grid while these guys are having their race at the front. Luckman's still on the back of Cole. They've not managed to make anything happen just yet. And he's now got Colby coming for him as well. As Dimster and Aidan Gray have got their own little battle as well. Both with a penalty as well. So let's just have a quick look what their penalty will be. Wrong one to change. So they've both got 3 seconds. So it is positional for them. The penalty's not going to affect the difference. As Luckman has put a move on Cole. It looks like he's done it into turn 10. And that is move done. He's got that position, so he's back where he started in P8. As we've now got Harry, who's dived into the pits, and JJ Lato has followed him into the pits as well. So these guys are going to be looking at the undercut on Dan here. But will they manage to get any kind of undercut by switching tyres earlier? We've also got Noodles in the pit there as well. He's one of those that was sitting further at the back anyway, as Dylan also comes in, and if he's not careful he's going to double stack with his teammate, and he definitely doesn't want to do that. In fact, he's just retired as well, so let's go and look at, oh god, we've got so many people so close together here. So look at Aidan, who's sitting on the back of Monkeys. Sometimes you get a bit of a lull and so many people are separated, and all of a sudden guys all close back up again and there's action everywhere and it's just hard to keep on with it all. But interestingly, Harry's came out in P13 and JJ Lato's come out in P15. So that's not going to help him. See, Harry's got clean air ahead of him. He's got 10.5 seconds to wings in P12. Whereas JJ Lato has got only 1.3 to nerf pack. As Dan has now dived into the pits, so let's see if the undercuts work, as Scotty's also followed him as well. So is Monkey going to dive in, or is he going to go? No, he's going to go to lead for now. So he has stayed on those tyres, as Carl is now in the pits as well. So Coulpy's not yet paired, but he's also looking at a move for P4 on Luckman here. He's going to go round the outside, and he has. The next thing we need to know is, where is Harry going to be when Dan comes out of the pits? Oh, this is going to be close. Oh, Dan's managed to sneak out just a little ahead of him. I don't think it's made much of a difference on which lap they pitted these guys. It was around about the same. It was about 1.5 seconds or so between them, and it's about 1.8 now. As JJ Lotto has had to make the move and is now 3 seconds behind Harry, so he's actually lost out a little bit of time there. So everybody ahead of Dan is yet to make a stop. And everybody has to make a stop as well. So although Coulpy is up right now 14 places in P4, he does have to stop as well. Yep, absolutely, Clay. I didn't mention it, but I did think exactly the same thing. Dan lost nothing by pitting a lap later, and his tyres will be 1 lap newer as well come the end of the race. As it's still saying Dan's pit box is open. So we've got a few guys here in the pits. That's Monkey, Luckman and Osso are all in the pits. So just because we've got a bit of an Osso fan zone, we'll see what Osso's going to do here in the pits. It will be the same tyres as everyone else, the harder compound. He does look to be getting held up a little bit there though, for some reason. Thought he was going to come out of his pit box just a little bit faster than that. So let's see what battles we've got going on. We've got Scotty on the back of his own teammate here, Nerf Pack. And Scotty is on the fresher tyres, so you would think potentially Nerf Pack will just come out of the way and just let him past. And I think he might have just about done it, but he didn't make it easy. Oh no, he's actually fighting him. Not 100% sure why, but Scotty is then still only about 3.5 seconds off the back of JJ Latu. Does seem to be losing ground to Harry and Dan though. Dimp's just still close to the back of Aiden, but these guys have still got to make a stop yet as well, but they are challenging for the current lead of the race. As Aiden has dived into the pits. And quite impressively, he made it past the pit wall entrance. So, last time round he wasn't so successful. As that's now Coulpy and Mateboy into the pit, so we fully expect that these leaders will get ahead of Coulpy here, but it's going to be interesting where Coulpy is going to come out now, because he needs as many points and positions as he can here for this. As he has had to take a wing as well, so that will delay him further as well. Really wouldn't have wanted to do that. It's just costing him time sitting in the pits. It seems like it takes forever in these cars. As he's now down in P11, 12th, 13th, 14th. He's just dropping down the order there. But he has managed to still come out in P14. As that was Monkey picking up 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. Okay, am I? No, I wasn't wrong. That was wet tyres. I'm not entirely sure why Monkey had done that. That must have been a mistake. As I jumped on board with him, I noticed his poor choice of tyres. So back to the front then. Dimpster's still got a stop to make. As has El Jobo, I thought so. I was wondering just for a second there. As that is now Dimpster in. What is El Jobo going to do? Is he going to make his stop now? He is. He's going to make his stop, which will promote Dan back to the lead. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Clay. Aiden is having a solid race. I'd just like to mock him for crashing. That's all. And I know he likes it. So, Aiden is actually up 9 places as well. He has got a penalty, but so has Luckman behind him as well. I do believe they're both 3 seconds. They are. So, those two will be positional. So now that's actually Aiden back up into P6 as the guys ahead of him are making their pit stops. So that is Dimpster out as well, who Dimpster does have 6 seconds of penalties as well, I believe, from when I was just looking at the penalty board a minute ago. So right now there's not a lot happening at the front here. These guys are well spaced out as Aiden is having a run here at Nerf Pack, and he has made that move. So that is Aiden up to P5. Now to seal that place he's got to find 3 seconds, but he's got another 9 laps to do it yet, so he's got loads of time. And his next person to go after will be Scotty, who's 4 seconds ahead of him. As Hayden's already pulled out over a second on Nerf Pack, so he's already cut into what he needs to offset his penalty. And there's, oh, that is Matey Boy who was off. I was about to say that Wings and Matey Boy were getting quite close there, but that's because Matey Boy was off the track. So let's go and just sit on with these guys at the front again. I'm not sure about that, Clay. Let me just have a quick look. Yep, Nerf Pack does. You're right. Nerf Pack is the only driver who hasn't made a stop. And Monkey has made 2 stops because, as I picked up not too long ago, he'd for some reason gone on to wet tyres. But everybody else but Nerf Pack has made their stop. So unfortunately everybody's just spaced out. There's not a lot happening, and it's not fun for being on comms when everyone's just spaced out and there's nothing really going on. But Carl is getting close to the back of Noodles here, as we do have a yellow flag in sector 3 as Matey Boy has retired. That is in the pit, so it won't cause a safety car. Nerfpack's going quite a long way into this race on those tyres. I'm surprised he hasn't made his stop yet. It's beyond the halfway point. As Dimpster is getting close to the back of Nerfpack now as well. So those tyres just don't seem to be working for Nerfpack at all. I'm still not 100% sure why he hasn't stopped yet, but his car, his choice and all that, as I think he is now making that stop, as Monkey's just retired as well, and that is another pit lane retirement. So what's earth? Sorry, just rubbing the wall there. So back up to the guys at the front then. So Dan's just driving away into his usual lead, the way he likes it. Nice, fresh, clean air ahead of him. Harry's following him a couple of seconds behind, as Noodles is dropping places. That's because he's not facing the right way. It looks like he's just had a little spin there in turn 2, and he looks like he's about to lose that to Osso as well, who's gone very wide trying to get around him. Through no fault of Noodles, you've just Osso just doesn't look like he can get that front end to turn in. Stay on board with Osso just for a little bit while he's on the back of Noodles, because it gives his fans something to watch for a bit. Oh, I thought he was going to lose the tail then at turn 7, that wouldn't have gone too well. That would have been a terrible time to have been on board with him. As Noodles just seemed to sort of move over and get out of the way there. Just allow Osso past. I'm not sure if there was any particular reason for that. Not sure if he's got damage. He's got an end plate missing on the left side, so maybe that was why he did it. Or maybe he just wants to stick close enough to Osso to have a run at him down the pit straight. Ooh, did I just miss that, Clay? Aiden's just picked up another 3-second penalty. He did. But on the plus side of things, that means he's still not going to lose out to Dimpster just yet, because Dimpster's also got 6 seconds as well. But as we've now lost Noodles, that means that's a pit lane retirement. Yeah, so there's currently around 4 seconds between the two of them, another 2.7 to El Jobo. So as it stands, Aiden will stay exactly where he is. He's not going to lose anything on that penalty just yet. Not unless El Jobo can manage to find about 6 or 7 tenths of a second. I think he needs maybe a little more. Probably a second just to be safe, I would say. As Dimpster now picks up another 3 seconds himself. So jump on with Carl, who is looking at the back of Coolpy here. He's managed to sneak his way into the top 10. Not as far as I think he would have liked to, with 4.5 laps or so to go. He definitely would have wanted to be further up. It's not been a fantastic run for Coolpy today. At least not in this race, it hasn't. As we have a full safety car. Not 100% sure why. I think I just saw Osso's not moving it after turn 9, so maybe he had a little bit of contact with the wall there. That can't be the reason for a safety car, surely. It's an odd thing to happen. Not sure why we've got this safety car. Does anyone see anything I didn't? Because everyone seems to be moving. The last DNF we had was Noodles, but that was in the pits at least half a lap or so ago. Unless it was just because of debris on the track from Osso's little incident with the wall, perhaps. It's the only thing I can think. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, a full safety car like that has absolutely ruined Aiden's race. I mean, he's actually managed to get ahead of Scott, but he still had 3 seconds of penalties more than Scott, so that was not really going to make a whole heap of difference. But it means now Coolpy in P7 is going to pick up 3 places just because the guys ahead of him have got a handful of penalties apiece. Between 3 and 9 seconds between them. So you've got Scott on 3, Aiden on 6 and Dimpster on 9. So those guys are all just going to lose out if Coolpy can stay close enough to them. So Coolpy may have just been saved by the safety car. It is really, really unfortunate for Aiden as well, because he was having such a good race and this safety car has just really, really not helped. I mean, it does allow a lot of these guys to sort of close back all those gaps. But for anyone with a penalty, this safety car isn't helpful. And I blame Osso. Absolutely Osso's fault. I don't know why, it is. He likes it when I blame him for things. And he is actually the furthest person back. So it will be Osso we're waiting for to catch up. But on the plus side, he is on the faster tyres, and they will be nice and warm by the time he catches up, if the safety car doesn't come in first. Given the amount of laps we've got left. I'm going to do a baby Dan. I'm going to see if I can find something to munch on. as Nicky drops in with, come on also, lad. Yeah, this safety car will close this right back up, and he's still finishing, so it's actually pretty good work there from Osso, because as I said in the sprint race, I know how much he struggles with these cars. He's not a big fan of the F2 cars. And let's just have a little look what tyre choices people have got here. So Osso and El Jobo at the back have gone on to the soft compound tyre. Everybody else is still on the hard, so El Jobo and Osso could make up some places here because of the tyre choice. And as the safety car is still out, I would guess it will be in this lap. I would guess, but maybe it'll wait another lap. I'm just good that way, Clay. Yeah, absolutely right, T-Bag. I mean, as much as this safety car completely destroys the race of the likes of Aiden, who unfortunately has 6 seconds now, is going to just tumble down the order. Dimpster, 9 seconds, is going to just tumble down the order. It actually helps the stream because there was gaps forming to the point of when nobody was managing to overtake each other, and it was getting a little bland in the middle there, and as much as I was trying, I just wasn't able to find a whole lot to talk about. So the safety car has helped the stream, but it's also really not helped some of these guys out on track. But who it has really helped though is Culpy. He's already up 11 places, and he's going to pick up another 3 if he can stay within touching range of all these guys with penalties. Yep, Aiden's one of the ones who is going to be screwed by this safety car. He's got 6 seconds. Scotty behind him has 3 seconds, and Dimpster has 9. So he's going to get massively screwed by this safety car. So I would fully expect that safety car to come in this lap. Our Osso was almost caught up, and we do only have 2 more laps of racing after this, so the safety car should be in this time. There you go, you just see the tail of the pack as he comes into turn 4 there. This safety car also puts JJ Lato back in very close contention with Dan. And it could actually take that place away from Harry and pick up a few extra points, even if he doesn't overtake Dan for the win, as the safety car is in this lap. Dan just packing everyone back up here. He wants to keep them nice and close together, and then try and go for a jump maybe out of turn 15 and get a run around 16 with as much momentum as he can. No, he was holding on just a little bit there, try and catch him out. I don't think he's quite caught Harry out though here. He hasn't. Harry is staying right with him. Seems to have caught JJ out a little bit though. He's dropped back about 6/10, and he's just lost that to Aiden as well. I mean, it won't stand at the end of the race because of Aiden's penalty, but it really doesn't help JJ trying to catch up with Harry and Dan ahead of him. As Corpy's just moved up into P5. So he's overtaken Dimpster and Scotty already. He really wants to chase down that podium position. Let's just sit on board with him now, see if he can chase down one of his title rivals, JJ Lato, who's being held up at the minute a little bit by being stuck behind Aiden. Not necessarily Aiden holding him up, of course, just trying to hold position for each other there, and he does look like he's trying to have a run back at him. So we will be entering our last lap very, very shortly. So for this last lap, I'm going to try and stay on with anyone involved in this title battle, which at the minute is Coopy and JJ, because Dan's just driving away from Harry a little bit here. I mean, Corby's done a fantastic job though, just managing to get up 13 places in this race. And the same in the last race actually, if I remember correctly. Ended up in P5, so... And he will take actually P4 here because of Aiden's penalties, so... This should keep things nice and tight, as that was a purple sector there from Corby as well. Sector 1 on the last lap. So as we get towards the end of the lap, I will jump on board with Dan and just watch him finish the lap. Right now, I'm just trying to stay with these and see if Corby can catch up with JJ. There's no DRS because of that late safety car, so it's all about where you choose to brake and accelerate and not getting too much wheel spin. As JJ's still trying to get past Aiden there, just ahead of Corby. He doesn't look like he's going to be able to do so. I'll just jump back on board with Dan for the last couple of corners here. That's 15 and 16. And that is the win for Dan then. And P2 for Harry. Aiden, who came through in P3, has dropped down to P5, which promotes JJ Lato to P3, Corby into P4, as his car just has a massive collision with the back of JJ's car. And also they were in P7 as well, as I just look back at the stream. And driver of the day is again Corby. I think the game is being paid off by Corby to just keep giving him driver of the day today. So just letting the guys have their moment of glory and getting themselves on the podium. We'll see how this looks once all the points have been tallied up again and whatever, but I think this is still going to be quite a close title battle going into Bahrain next week. As Aiden says, those penalties cost me, but it felt like that was a good race from him, and it was. Also giving the people what they want every race from Nicky. So, just to wrap things up then, the results of the feature race, that says Dan has the fastest lap, and he came P1, Harry P2, JJ Lato P3, Corby P4, Eljobo P5, Aiden down in P6 after taking 6 seconds of penalties, which cost him a few places. Also P7, which I'm sure many of his fans are happy about, seeing him in the top 10. Scotty in P8, Carl in P9, Luckman in P10, Nerfpack P11, Dimpster P12, Wings in P13, and then everybody else from Noodles to Jackie, which includes Hamster, Dylan, Matey, and Monkey's Nuts, all DNF. Well, that was a mixed night, but I think the guys are still going to be very, very close in that title battle. So that'll be something well worth watching as we go into our next race at Bahrain next week, as I said. So that will be that for the night, I think. I have been Mechanical, and I will be on track on Sunday, and actually I won't be here next week, as it will be my birthday next week, so I will be missing comms next week, but I will be back for the finale in Suzuka for the F2s. So I shall see you all then.